Hello everyone, this is Dragon Song 12, here again with another progress video. Today's video is on a page of Devil's Blood. I believe it's chapter 5, page 11. It's difficult to name chapters in this one. I don't do them the same way I do in my other comics. Basically, I'm kind of writing it without chapters, but you gotta divide it some way to organize things. So I believe it is the 5th section. The page will be linked below. But yes, I did not actually expect to be doing another one of these so quickly, and I definitely didn't expect it to be Devil's Blood. I kind of expected to do Twisted Mirrors before this one. I really wanted to talk about that, but it's a little harder to find Twisted Mirrors pages that I can really record right now, because so much of it is hand-drawn. I'm pretty sure DaVinci Resolve can import iPhone video. It would make sense for them to be able to do so, but I haven't tried it myself, and even then I'd need to find a rig to suspend the phone over my notepad while I'm drawing, so I still gotta figure things out before I can do that. So we're going ahead to Devil's Blood. Really, I just did the pencils for this page, and I just really liked how they looked, and I thought it might be neat to watch the process of putting everything together digitally. So here we are. So what is Devil's Blood exactly? I have 3 comics, and if you're around me a lot, it's probably the one you're going to hear me talk about the least. Probably most often you'll hear me talk about Conscripted, and there is a reason for that. With Devil's Blood, the thing you need to know the most about it is that it is for me. It is just for me. I don't make it for anybody else. I don't put any thought into giving it mass appeal. It's just for me. It's got all my personal favorite tropes. It's got all my favorite types of characters. It's things that were designed specifically to be enjoyable for me and for nobody else. I don't say that because I don't want people reading it. It's the opposite. I love when people read it. I love to talk to people about it. But I also understand that this means that it's only appealing specifically to an audience of one. And I don't really expect it to appeal to a lot of other people, just on a basic level. It's extremely self-indulgent. And a bit of art therapy for myself. It's a very personal project in a lot of ways. Not in any way that's embarrassing or anything. Like, you wouldn't get anything deep or personal or anything I'd be embarrassed by if you read it. But it is a lot of the little details of it are things that are there for me. Uh, just as a very, very small example, the main character has an issue he talks about where he doesn't remember his own notes because he has a haphazard way of writing them on the corners of papers, and everything's all unorganized, and he doesn't remember how it all fits together. This may sound weird to other people. It may come across as like a contrivance to slow down the process of the information, to make it so he can't give them the information right away. But the truth is, I didn't need a contrivance to keep him from giving them the information. It's right there in the same scene. He talks about this bad habit of his, that he just doesn't want to give them the information, so he didn't need to make up an excuse. The reason this is in there is because that is something that I do. I have a very bad habit of, especially during my work day, of whenever I need to remember something, just scribbling it on the corner of whatever piece of paper is closest. And then at the end of the day, I have a whole piece of paper with numbers and single words at different angles and in different corners. And it's like a secret code. What does it mean? And it's even I don't know what it's supposed to mean, and I wrote it earlier that day. After 4 years, there's definitely no way I'm going to remember everything. So that's there because to me that's normal. It's not a contrivance for the plot. It's just because that made sense to me as a writer. So it's that sort of thing. It's stuff that's unique to me in a lot of ways, and I'm just putting it into my comic because that makes sense to me. So yeah, if you do decide to read it, be aware that you'll deal with my personal favorite things, which will include a lot of character interactions, a lot of emphasis on them talking about on body language, on emotions. Those are my favorite things. Um, but what is Devil's Blood about more broadly? Like, what is the story? Well, the story of the comic is that in this world there is this substance called Devil's Blood, hence the name. It is a black tar-like substance that comes alive and attaches itself to a host. Kind of like venom. It's a different thing. It didn't come about from venom, but that's not a bad way to explain it to help you understand. But yeah, it infects people, and once it infects you, it'll make you go mad in a way. It'll cause make you start causing violent acts all around you, and it will eventually kill you, either quickly or more slowly. And in this world, there's only so far been one person who's had any actual effect on slowing down these strange infections. And it is a man named Nicodemus Blackcroft, who, unfortunately for everyone involved, has become very bitter and jaded and is deeply, deeply insecure and has very little interest in actually engaging with this problem anymore. So it is up to the Captain Lisedi Nomusa, who is very calm, collected, and seems very self assured, to pull him out of his funk and make him get back to work in a way. And so the story is the two of them coming together to try to understand what the devil's blood actually is and find out a way that it can actually be stopped. And now you see why I said in the last video that the title Devil's Blood, though it sounds very, very grim, it does make sense in context. It's just the name of this substance. But all of that is basically just what it's about on the surface level. The very basic, this is what it appears to be. A lot of this comic is metaphors for larger ideas. And I'm not going to talk too much about what those metaphors are and the things they mean because they're not super deep or complex. They're not too difficult to understand. I think I'm a little too obvious about most of them in a lot of cases. I trust anyone who comes to the comic to be intelligent enough to figure them out on their own. So I don't need to tell them to you, and sort of decoding that is part of the fun of writing a story in this method to start with. Um, it's a way for me to, like I said, do the art therapy, to work through some things of my own, and to allow readers to do the same. I don't want to dictate to you what those metaphors are because, like, you might bring your own personal stories to this comic, and you might come up with something even better than the fairly basic metaphors that I'm using. So I think it's good to leave it vague for now. I'm happy to talk about it more if someone really, really wants to know, but I trust you to figure it out. I don't think you need me to tell you. This project was actually started during COVID lockdown, of all things. And you might be tempted to think that, oh, it's a story about an infection and all the horrible things coming with it. Was it inspired by COVID? No, no. The That's not what it's about, really. It's not actually about a virus or infection or anything. Um, it was just that being on lockdown, being home for 4 months, just gave me the time to actually put into process this comic that I was already planning. I had everything set before the whole thing started, so it just gave me time to work on it. Um, it is the third comic that I started, so just by the order of things, it's the third importance. The one I started first is the highest importance. The one I started second is the next importance, and Devil's Blood has the third importance. And as I talked about a little bit on my last video, um, what this means is that it does have the most simplistic art style of the three, because I have less time to do it. If one of the other pages takes longer to do, then all that pushes into my time working on Devil's Blood, so I need to make sure I have time to get the pages done on time because I hold myself to deadlines. It is one of the few things I'm very, very proud of. Um, so it is somewhat simplified. The shading is very, very simple cell shading. I don't do a lot of color correcting, especially on the characters. I let them kind of stand on their own. Um, I do a bit more work on the backgrounds, which is kind of funny because I think the backgrounds are the weakest part. I tried very early on to do like a very stylized, simplistic background, tried to make them look sketchy, but I did not know how to do that, and they looked real bad. So, yeah, a lot of the early backgrounds, in fact, have all been replaced because they looked so bad I couldn't stand looking at them. They don't look great now, they just kind of look fine. Um, but the backgrounds have always been a weak part for me, and I think it's especially bad here for whatever reason. There was a page I posted not that long ago where I got the whole thing done and it posted, and I was looking at it on the site to make sure it had uploaded fine, and I realized, oh crap, I got the perspective completely backwards. Like the whole page done, I was happy with it, posted it, perspective's completely wrong, and it's up now. Like, maybe I'll go back someday and change it, but there wasn't time to do it before I needed an upload. I forgot the door in that one too, which is even funnier. It has no door and the perspective's wrong. It's very bad. I'm genuinely not sure what my issue with doing backgrounds is. I've always had a problem with it, like from day one. I just can't really think of what to put in them. They feel very flat and very empty. Everything always looks sort of off and staged wrong. And even when I try to put more focus onto them, that only seems to make it worse because then it feels more obvious that stuff is just sort of placed there to be stuff. Um, I don't really know why I can't do it. Of characters flow very very naturally. I love drawing characters. That's just fun. And that doesn't surprise me too much because character has always been my focus in media, so it does make sense. But you feel like I would have picked up something about doing backgrounds by this point, and it's a shame because in media every single part of it should be used to tell the story. There is so much you can do with backgrounds to set the mood, set the tone, tell you things. Like environmental storytelling is one of my favorite things, and I just can't do it. And it's so frustrating to me because I feel like it's somehow accentuated in this comic, probably because the characters are so simple. I don't know, it's frustrating. I'll keep working at it, but I don't know if I'll ever get there. But the backgrounds aren't the only part of the art. When it comes to the characters themselves in this comic, that is where I just have the most fun. And to be honest, I'm not really sure why. Nicodemus in particular has a very, very basic character design intentionally. He's just supposed to look like a scruffy loser. Um, but I think in a way that simplistic design kind of helps him, and that combined with the fact that this comic is all of my favorite things, because he is just the most fun person to draw I've ever had in all the comics I've done. I just love drawing this guy. I love drawing his expressions. I love drawing his body language. I have fun drawing him, even when he's just not doing anything. I like drawing him sad. I like drawing him happy. I like drawing him miserable or upset or excited. I like drawing him. He's just fun to draw. And then, we combine that with the captain, and she's a lot like she's a very stoic character, so she doesn't have as expressive a style. So, but she's very, very fun to write. Way, way more fun to write. Probably also the most fun writing a character I have. She has this weird, uncanny ability to just, when I'm doing her dialogue, to just say things that just surprise me and also make perfect sense at the same time. I don't really know how to explain it. Like, it all definitely comes from my brain, but I would never think to say these things. I don't know where she gets it from. But between writing her and drawing him, I love these two so much. They are definitely my favorite two characters to work with. And so that is why so much of Devil's Blood is just the two of them talking, because that is my favorite thing in the world. So it might be kind of interesting to hear all this if you've read any of the comic, or if you do read the comic, how I can speak so joyfully about this whole project when the actual comic itself has kind of a dour tone. It's sort of dark, um, but that's just sort of what I like. Like I mentioned in the last video that my favorite thing to do is take characters and put them in a bad situation and see how they react, and that's this whole story. That's this whole comic. Um, Doing that makes me happy, and I just have a lot of fun with it, even though the coming out the other side it looks pretty miserable. But and again, the art therapy aspect as well, like working through my own feelings by working on this. But it is just fun. I have a lot of fun making it, and that's what makes me so excited to get to it every week. Like, it is the third comic I do. It is always the last thing I do each week. Um, but it is definitely my favorite, and that kind of works in my favor as far as scheduling goes, because it means I want to finish the first two comics so that I can get to work on Devil's Blood. It's a little treat for myself. Um, and that's the fun of it. I really, really love working on this comic. I've got a lot of really things coming up that I'm very excited to get to, and it was really fun working on this page that's in the video. Um, I hope if you ever get the chance to read it, or the inclination, that you have fun with it too, but bear in mind it does have a somewhat dark tone. Um, Thanks for watching. If you have any interest in it, the page will be linked below. Well, there'll be the address for it below. I don't think I can link things, but I'm not too bothered about that. Uh, See you next time. I have another one of these on hand, and we'll see what we'll talk about then.